Welcome, citizens, to another Starcarft Nation broadcast. In today's cast, we're going to go over the third and final of the series in between Socke and softball. We are on Desert Oasis. Now, I don't know about y'all, but this does not look like any oasis to me. This looks like a terrible, terrible place to live. So, yeah, I don't know about y'all, but that's just me. Now, let's go over what we saw. It's going to keep it really, really quick. So, what we saw, first game, softball was able to best Socke. Socke was fielding the Zealot High Templar mix-up, and of course throwing in some Immortals. But we saw a huge adaptation by softball. He started carrying a lot of roaches. He originally went with Mutalisk, and it was just back and forth, back and forth. One player would come out with this build, and another player would come back with a counter, and just like I was saying, back and forth, and it was amazing, and it was the longest game I've ever casted. And I'm tired of talking about that. Second game, we saw softball fall to Socke. Socke was able to just basically I wouldn't call it a contain. You saw the original abuse of the high ground by Socke with his stalkers and keep that natural locked down for about 5 minutes. Meanwhile, Socke was able to occupy his expansion, get it online, and put softball behind him. And also, softball made a crap ton of roaches, and it was pretty much an entire roach army. There's some Hydralisks mixed in there, but when the Colossus came out there, softball actually did a really good job of pinching Socke's forces, but he wasn't able to deploy all of his roaches at once, and they were cut to shreds by the Colossus and the Immortals that were mixed in there. Those Immortals just so devastating to armored units. And I believe there was a weapons level 2 upgrade at that point. So those roaches were just dying left and right. And we saw softball GG out of that even before there was any sort of base destruction. So now we're on the third matchup, and we have Socke denying the early expansion for softball. Softball, of course, going to be getting the spawning pool, as that was pretty much his plan to begin with. And Socke doing an interesting build here. He is going to go ahead and claim the entirety of this area as his, and that's going to be setting himself up for this backdoor action. But you can stick a Zealot here. Oh wait, I don't know. Is that Zealot tie? There might be a Stalker. Not too sure. Can't really tell. But with this Cybernetic Core finishing up, he's going to be Chrono boosting out that Stalker. Will be sticking it right there, and it will be Zergling type. Meanwhile, we have these two probes trying to kill this drone. Of course, the drone will be going here and sniping that Vespene Geyser, as we see softball loves to do. Meanwhile, the pylon by Socke is going to be dispatched, will be finished up there, and softball will be populating that natural expansion. Meanwhile, this probe is running for its life. We'll be seeing that there are... Well, actually, I don't think he was able to see that with that Zolnaka Tower, but he is going to be running as these Zerglings are going to be coming after him. Meanwhile, softball tasering the crap out of this extractor, but that is going to take a long time. And we have softball kind of loitering on the outsides with his Overlord over here. Meanwhile, we see the Chrono boosting of that second Stalker out here. The Stalker will be engaging this Zergling, will be able to kill it most likely. Nope, never mind. That is not the case, as it was able to run away with 6 HP and actually already got 1 kill, so I guess he was the guy who killed that pylon. So, props to him for getting the first kill of the game. Meanwhile, we have the Queen coming over here, not too happy that her talons are on the bare ground, but will this Stalker be able to micro hit? Yes, the Stalker will be going after this Queen, will be able to micro it down if these Zerglings don't do something about it. But the Zerglings, of course, will not be numerous enough, but we have reinforcements coming in from softball, and we actually have another Stalker coming in for Socke, so Socke might be able to take this if he micros it correctly, as that Stalker was just about to lose all of its shields. Meanwhile, we do have this 2-Stalker early pressure, but there are so many Zerglings right there. Socke has to be careful not allowing these Zerglings to get this around, because yes, if we do get this around, we're going to see these Stalkers fall. And this one Stalker is really looking really close. His shields do drop. He is taking going to start taking a substantial amount of damage. We do have a third Stalker running up here. Socke able to micro down these Zerglings, so basically there are only 2 left. And this one Stalker really not feeling so hot. Actually, both of these Stalkers not feeling so hot, but able to kill each and every one of those Zerglings right there. So Socke in a good position to apply early pressure to that natural. It looks like softball is actually pulling his Queen off of that base. Not so sure about that. Does not want to lose that. Meanwhile, softball still tasering this extractor This one probe has been at it for a long time, and he is just getting really fed up with it. I'm quite sure, as we do actually see the Nexus here finishing up. We're seeing the chrono boosting of the probes. We're seeing a small probe transfer as this Uberu is going to be disturbed right there, and we see a sentry coming in here forward in the main as we don't actually want any speedlings running across here. And we do see the early forces of Socke moving back in here, and yes, that is actually Stalker type, not Zealot. So we have three more, actually four more gateways in production. That warp gate technology is going to make a huge difference as we have a proxy pylon here. So as you all know, it's very frustrating going up against a Protoss when you're sitting here chewing on that front door like these Zerglings are about to do. But are we going to see the force field in time? Yes, we actually do see the force field denying the rest of those Zerglings entrance into the base. We see 3 Zerglings getting in here, but will it be enough? Of course, all of them. No, all of them will be dispatched. We do have one Zealot, or one Stalker watching the background. Of course, it'll be more than happy to kill it. But, oh, and we actually saw the force field drop right there, and all those Zerglings could have gotten into the main, but backed out of there, as Socke does have overwhelming forces, so that army would have died, but they would have been able to do a lot of economic damage to the mineral line if he had actually gotten them in there. But the beauty about this is that you can actually get, if he's in here and fighting for your main, you can sit here, throw down some Zealots, and charge up here and go wreak some havoc of your own. So basically allowing you to counterattack whenever you please. And this Overlord is in danger of being sniped. Will it go down? Yes, it does go down, and its bones and guts spew all over that dead command center right there. Now, I wonder, do Overlords have bones? I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, they look pretty bony to me. So right now, we actually see Socke moving out here with his Stalker and Zealot and a few sentries in there for fun army. And Softball pulling out the creep, but trying to put in some stacked defense here, as we do see the surround going down on those Stalkers. All of those Stalkers going down. These Zealots not able to get into melee combat with the enemy due to their own units, and these force fields are blocking themselves, so these spine crawlers will be able to finish, and we see drones coming off the line trying to allow the spine crawlers time to finish up. Now the spine crawlers are here, and they are pissed off. These queens are going to be able to transfuse these spine crawlers, so I do believe that Socke will not be able to really push through this, as we do see one spine crawler go down, and these Zealots, while retreating, are going to be taken out. But we do see another pylon coming down right here, so Socke will be able to produce a lot of units and able to really put them in there. So he has 5 gateways right now being fed by 2 bases, so we could actually see more gateways coming in here for him if he so chooses. We actually see an attempted sniping of the spine crawlers by the Stalkers. The Stalkers, of course, have -1 range against the spine crawlers, so they will be taking damage, as there's a lot. That's 4 spine crawlers isn't anything to scoff at. And Socke coming here trying to find something, trying to make something happen. They do not have blink, so this one Stalker is in a very precarious position. And I'm curious, why are we not seeing any units coming out of Socke? What is he doing? He's getting the assimilator, and oh, here we go, Twilight Council. There we go, and we do actually see a few Stalkers coming over here for this one. Actually, that one that one Zergling totally got popped right there, and we do see the forward pylon for Socke going ahead and going to be dispatched by those Zergling. And what is this? We have Mutalisk mixing in there with these Zerglings, so a great combination of Muta and Ling here. Force fields, of course, will be limiting the effectiveness of those Zerglings, and of course that Muta will be popped by all of this. And we have one Mutalisk scurrying over to the main of Socke. Will Socke be able to do anything about it? But I guess not, because it is just going to chill out there in that chasm and wait for his buddy to show up. Meanwhile, we're seeing Socke at the front door of Softball again, going to be applying pressure on the natural. We see actually a pylon over here, really good placement of that, just basically putting pylons everywhere, and I'm not sure why Softball hasn't engaged that mineral line, because that would throw Socke off ever so slightly, forcing Socke to devote some time stalling that attack on the natural of Softball. But what is this? We have another Stargate and a Phoenix coming in here, so the Phoenixes will be dealing with the Mutalisk Menace. And the Mutalisk, of course, coming over here, scouting around, making sure that there isn't any crazy shenanigans going on, and we'll be looking for the high-yield expansion. But, of course, there is nothing there. We do see one cannon down for Socke at the base. We do see one Phoenix up. The second Stargate will be coming up along with that second Phoenix. Of course, we do have the Mutalisk coming here, trying to get some free kills on those pylons. Will he be able to do so? No, these Phoenix are able to shoot and move at the same time. So, unfortunately, the Mutalisk are not able to do that. So, these Phoenixes are going to be able to really put a lot of pain on these Mutalisks. but requiring a lot of micro to keep out of the range of those glaive bombers, as we do see one Phoenix going down there. However, this Phoenix does have 2 kills, both of those of which are 3 kills, all of which are Mutilis, so this Phoenix is are already paying for themselves, as Socke is returning back to home base, and we're actually destroying his own pylon so he can get back in there. Not really sure what he's doing, why he's actually returning base, because he could be applying a lot of pressure right now. It was exactly what needs to be happening, because right now, Softball is going to be adapting to what Socke is bringing to the table, and Socke's build is going to become less and less effective as time goes on, because we actually have a Hydra stun almost finishing up, and the Hydras will be able to counter just about anything coming out of the gateway, especially the Stalkers. Oh, what is this? We actually see Socke supply locked himself when he killed that pylon, so not a place you really want to find yourself in any point in time. We just see that one pylon finishing up there, and we see more units warping in here. Going to be a lot of Zealots, going to be able to take the brunt of that. But we actually have Blink Stalkers coming up here in the main of Softball, so Softball's main is in danger right here. We have Phoenixes giving them the vision. Meanwhile, we have a few Stalkers engaging these Spine Crawlers, and we have the Hydra scurrying over here trying to make something happen. Meanwhile, we have a lot of Zergling and a lot of drones here. The drones, of course, acting as meat shields as the Hydras are coming in and killing those Phoenixes. I don't think that's really what they need to be focusing on right now. They need to be focusing on these Stalkers, because the longer the Stalkers are in the base, the less and less effective they're going to be, because these Hydras are going to be able to DPS them down, and we do see a lot of drones going down to these Stalkers, but of course, there are too many Hydras right there for those Stalkers to do anything about, and you do see them wisely choose to retreat. So Socke's forces being split up right there, but we just see actually some more harassment in the main, taking off some